Welcome to another episode of Cyberside Chats. I'm your host, Jess Coburn, CEO of Managed Cloud, IT, and Cybersecurity Company Applied Innovations, where we help businesses identify risk and address it before it becomes a problem. Today, businesses across the globe are dealing with the COVID-19 pandemic, and these first few episodes focus on what business leaders, owners, and CEOs can do to not just survive, but thrive amid crisis. In this episode of Cyberside Chat, I sit down with Georganne Goldblum, Vistage Chair and CEO Coach. We discuss lessons learned from the economic crisis in 2007 and the hard decisions ahead for CEOs as we prepare for a potential economic downturn. So sit back, relax, and let's chat. Welcome back to Cyberside Chat. I'm Jess Coburn, and today I have with me Georganne Goldblum. Georganne, can you talk a little bit about yourself and what you do?
Sure. Morning, Jess. I'm Georganne Goldblum. I've been a Vistage Chair for over 18 years. And I also have my own firm, Coach for Execs, which works inside companies with the leadership team and their developing leaders to make sure they have the skills, the alignment to meet or exceed their goals. And then I also coach business individuals.
So that must be important to help businesses and leadership teams really understand what they're doing.
It is, especially in times like this. But 18 years ago, I didn't quite have an understanding. I have a business background. But when I started with Vistage, it's an incredible asset for CEOs, for key executives. They have a platform that is over 60 years old, over 22,000 members worldwide, and they help their members. They help them with three things: helping them be better leaders, make better decisions, and getting better results.
Okay. And so Vistage is really there to help any business, or can anyone join it? How does that work? Give me a little more about Vistage for those that don't know.
Well, there are size parameters, and it's primarily for businesses that have at least 20 employees. Well, Vistage has really three elements. The first is the peer advisory group, which allows CEOs and the key executives to have their peers who can hear their challenges, can hear their opportunities, and ask the right questions, and can approach it from different perspectives so that there are multiple solutions, not just one. And it allows that CEO to work on their business, not just in their business. It also, we have one of the most amazing set of exceptional resources. We bring in speakers. We obviously, during times like this, we can stream in speakers. And through Vistage International, we have webinars and podcasts and white papers, and the ability to really select and refine that information so we don't overwhelm the members, but give them what they need whenever they're looking for it to be able to make those better decisions. And finally, the last piece of it is coaching. And we do that one-on-one. Once a quarter, we do it as a triad. 3 members and myself meet, and it allows the members to get to know each other better, deeper, and to help each other in managing, making decisions for their business.
Yeah, Vistage has been fantastic for me, Georgiana. As you mentioned, I've been in it for well over 10 years now. And I joined right after the first recession. So the businesses that I got to interact with were really coming out of having to make those hard decisions and everything. What lessons could we learn from what the businesses did during that recession and what we're faced today, realizing that I realize this is a crisis now or a pandemic, but a lot of people feel that it is going to lead to a downturn in the economy. What could we learn from that?
So it was interesting. Back in 2007, we got wind that a recession would be coming, and we started planning then. And I had all of my members look at their business and say, if we go down 20%, what am I going to do? What do I have to do for expenses? What do I have to do for labor? What do I have to do for vendors? They had a detailed plan laid out. They looked at key indicators, the rolling 12 trends, to realize when they may need to make decisions. They did it for 20%, they did it for 40%, maybe some did it beyond that, and they used them. Almost every one of them had to use those plans during the recession. And that during the recession is when I started your group, because I looked around and I said, the economy is going to be continue to be volatile, and the world is going to be volatile, and that CEOs need a place to go with their peers more than ever. And so that's why I started that second group. We started in 6 weeks, we had 12 members, and now we're up to 21. So it's been a valuable place. And we've had to use, we call them DEFCON plans. I didn't come up with the name, but the members did. It's from the military. And they have updated them and continually have them. At the beginning of last year, you'll remember, I asked everybody to do these DEFCON plans in case we had another recession and to be ready. And most of the members have done that, and they have them. And the key to it is you're making tough decisions before you're emotionally involved and have to do that, or you're emotionally stable. And then when you have to make these, you're ready. You just execute. And it doesn't make it easy, but it makes it easier.
And that would be the advice for anyone today that doesn't have their DEFCON plan, is to start planning now.
Absolutely. I mean, I would start with the very first premise, and I was speaking to one of my members yesterday who's been with me for all 18 years. Red Scott would say, he was the owner of Vistage, Florida. He had passed away, but his saying was, cash is king, cash is cash. You need to know what your cash position is going to be for 90 days from now. And you run various scenarios with different accounts receivable levels, different accounts payable levels. You run different templates and make sure where you're going to be, because we can't count on whether we're going to get that government money in time. And you want to make sure you're in this for the long term, that your business is going to stand up.
That's great feedback and great advice. You know, one of the things I really enjoy about Vistage, and that you touched on, was that we get to meet as a group. You meet a group of CEOs from different industries that have varied backgrounds, and it's really enjoyable. Now, the pandemic has put a hold on that, but you were quick to act on that and make changes for us. Can you talk a little bit about that and what we're doing there?
Sure. I've become a digital star every day. I get ready for my photo shoot. We've been using Zoom. We also, some of my members use Team because they're Microsoft. But we began early. The most important thing for my members and for my groups is communication. And to be able to talk with each other, to be able to talk with their people. And it's constant, and it's educational, informative, and upbeat, because you guys are the leaders. And so I always hope that I'm a role model for my members. And so I jumped on Zoom. We started to do, instead of, because we only have a once a month meeting, we started having weekly meetings with everybody on board at a regular time, so that we could talk through a day. It seems like a month, because things are changing so quickly here. And I'm also they're communicating through emails and sending information to people so that everybody is up to speed. I cross-pollinate information across the groups so everybody hears. Vistage Florida has provided some webinars. We had one with Markham, so that, again, you're getting the best and most relevant information without overload. because you don't want to overload. Everybody's busy, everybody's trying to execute. So it's a balance of those things. The one-to-ones we also do with Zoom and Teams, and also the triads. So we've been able to go virtual, and we're living in a virtual world now.
So that was a great pivot that you made, though, where you took the group to those weekly meetings. Initially, I thought, oh my God, here we go. We're going to have a weekly Vistage meeting. Come on, it's hard enough to find time for once a month, right? How am I going to find time for this? It's the same crybaby stuff everybody gives at every meeting. They come in, they go, oh my God, I can't believe I'm here. I'm so busy. I got so much going on. And at the end, it's, oh my God, I wouldn't have missed this for anything. I got so much value. I really know how I'm going to handle that issue that I was struggling with. But what's nice about the weekly meetings and what you're doing there is that the situation's changing so quickly. It's so fluid that to have that group there and to be able to lean on them and to assist has been invaluable to me, and I'm sure to a lot of them.
And I hear from, because we have a weekly meeting with all of the chairs in Florida and sharing what's happening in all their groups. And everybody has said having the community and having that curated information during this time has been priceless.
Yeah, and that's where I was going, is that you're bringing not only what you're hearing from the two different groups, but from all of Florida through Vistage, and you're bringing that back. And then Vistage was really fast to use their community and their message boards, and they stood up the coronavirus network like that. I mean, it was so quick. And the amount of information and help that I've gotten from there and that I've shared has been fantastic. So that's been really useful. The one thing I did want to talk about, it's something new, I don't think I even mentioned it to you, is that we've been real busy. I've been real busy doing stuff like this. Right now, most of my clients are in the cloud already, and things are good for them. It's going to change eventually, and we're trying to keep them aware of that. But in the meantime, I want to share the knowledge, and so that's why I'm doing the Cyberside Chats and bringing you in and a bunch of other trusted leaders and advisors that I use. But I realized that a lot of CEOs and business owners, they don't have that network. So I created a Facebook group called South Florida Businesses Helping Each Other. And in just a week, thank you. In just a week, it's grown to over 100 plus members. And the amount of information that's getting shared there has been fantastic. And I've been trying to filter some of that Vistage information off to these guys too, because it's important. We all need to help out right now, especially as business owners and business leaders, because we're what we have to lean on.
Right. It helps because we've been able to have a place, not just for information, but what does somebody need? What does somebody have? Where can people were looking for manufacturing, and we were able to refer manufacturers who still have capacity to take on whatever work that people are looking for, or where employees are laid off from hospitality, where they could be used in a whole nother area that they're trying to hire. So yeah, we've made all that available so people can connect and do that. So you're doing a great thing, Jess.
Well, I appreciate it. Thank you. Where do you think CEOs and business owners in general are really struggling today, or maybe not struggling because they've solved it? Where's the pain point that you're hearing right now?
Well, the greatest pain point is letting people go. I mean, no matter how you do it on paper, it's painful. What most of the companies have done first, I mean, other than if they know that they're going to be down, they have to. They've made that decision. But what they've done is they take salary cuts, and they took them big on the top and then progressively down. And their people have been thanking them. They're thanking them because they still have a job, but they're thanking them because they're doing what's right for the business. As a CEO, your job is to increase and improve the value of the business, no matter what you're faced with. And these CEOs are doing that, and it's tough. Those are tough choices. They're tough decisions. And the toughest that we all face is we don't know how long this is going to go on. If we knew how long it was going to go on, you'd make one set of decisions. Is this a sprint? Is this a marathon? Is it a month? Is it 3 months? Is it the rest of the year? Nobody knows. So that's what's challenging. And that's where it's nice to have other people who are in the same boat to talk to commiserate with, and to pick their brains.
That's
We're
great.
all smarter together.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That collective brain is much smarter, especially when it feeds off of each other. I remember one of my very first, pardon me, one of my very first speakers that we had, what he said, and it has resonated with me every single time. And it's cut once, cut deep.
Right.
Because if you have to cut employees, you want to do it one time. If you sit there and you're chopping away at it constantly, you're going to lose your best employees because they're going to go, oh my God, am I next? Am I next?
Right.
And that's a really tough thing for any business owner is to cut an employee, much less look at it and go, okay, well, I need to cut this percentage of my employees is the minimum I should cut, but really to be healthy and keep the tree alive and growing, I should trim back even further. And it's difficult, but to do that right and then to message to the rest of the team about that, I found is really key.
And that is key, is to message humanly with whatever you're talking about. We need positivity, we need leadership, and these are some of the webinars we're running right now for the CEOs, because messaging is everything. And we all, we've had some speakers on and telling stories and all. Time to be using all that, because we have to connect. We're using video instead of real live face to face. So we have to have better skills than we've ever had.
Yeah, that's important. That the CEO really sets the pulse of the company, right? And
Mhm.
how he feels and shows up and comes in the office. The rest of the team sees that. If you had a rough day and you come in moping and sad or angry, the rest of the team sees that. And right now, if you're frantic and scared and worried, they're frantic and scared and worried.
Right. You owe your people to be calm in this, and also that you care from a genuine and authentic place. So,
And that's really important. So um, I think it's key. One of the things that I just green lighted for my team, and I hope that it's a good example for other CEOs, is the hand sanitizer, little bottles of hand sanitizer. Some of the
yeah.
promotional product companies are still able to take orders. They're going to be delayed by weeks, but I just had Natalie order a bunch of those just for our employees to give to our employees so they can give them to whoever, because we don't know how long this is going to be. I think the order is probably going to take a month to get here, and I suspect it's still going to be needed. And it's not so much about promoting the company, it's about helping the employees.
Right. And it'll probably never go away that we won't need these going forward. So that's a timeless
I
solution.
think so. I think so. So I know a lot of CEOs would see something like, I mean, a lot of America saw this and saw it going on and said, oh, it's going to pass, right? It's not really a big deal. This thing it's a hoax. It's not going to be here. It's just the flu. Um, that's not really the case. For those CEOs that are not taking action, you know, what should they be doing? We talked about what they should do with their plan, but what about their business? They still need to grow their business.
Okay, I would say three things, and then I'll sum it with one, which is conserve cash. No matter what, they need to conserve cash. Two, they need to look at the programs, the government programs, and if they have not filed, file for the PPP and the EIPL or EIDL. And so they need to be aware of the programs and take advantage of them, again, because they're going to need cash to continue through this. Now, there are some businesses that are flourishing. Okay. So they should keep growing and take advantage of the opportunity to grow. I mean, IT and telecom and attorneys, they're all doing well right now. I just heard of a yacht maintenance business, because these yacht owners aren't going on their boats, but they want maintenance. So it's odd, but there's different there are businesses that are going to flourish in this. The other ones where you're shut down and you're not an essential business, uh, you've got to be, ready for the long haul and really know your numbers and be prepared for it. The other thing I would say is, in terms of helping them, if you want to send anybody to me, Jess, I'd be glad to talk with them and ask the questions to understand where they are and see if I can't be of some help to them during this. I've made myself available to my members, but to anybody, I'm available to talk and work through this.
Georganne, for the last 10 years I've known you, you've always been that person. You've always been willing to give to somebody like that and help anybody. So for all the people you help, thank you for that. For anyone that needs help or would want to get in touch with you, how would they contact you?
So my cell is 561-350-7440. My email, I'll say it, but Jess, unless you can put this up on it, they'll spell it wrong and it'll never work. So
Don't
it's
worry, I'll put it on the notes.
partnersllc.com. But just put the contact information on this, and they can get in touch with me.
Georganne, this has been fantastic. Thank you for taking the time to contribute to the Cyberside Chats and for being a part of South Florida businesses helping each other as well. Thank you so much. And thank you for everything you do for your Vistage members and for businesses in general.
Thank you. I appreciate it.